Namo Phat. Good morning. Thank you for joining me for our daily practice check-in. Listen, listen, listen. This beautiful sound calls us back to our true home. The fifth mindfulness training. Aware of the suffering caused by unmindful consumption, I vow to cultivate good health, both physical and mental, for myself, my family, and my society, by practicing mindful eating, drinking, and consuming. I will ingest only items that preserve peace, well-being, and joy in my body, in my consciousness, and in the collective body and consciousness of my family and society. I'm determined not to use alcohol or any other items that contain toxins, such as certain TV programs, magazines, books, films, and conversations. I'm aware that to damage my body or my consciousness with these poisons is to betray my ancestors, my parents, my society, and future generations. I will work to transform violence, fear, anger, and confusion in myself and in society by practicing a diet for myself and for society. I understand that a proper diet is crucial for self-transformation and the transformation of society. We've been reading a book for our Dharma readings by the nuns of Amaravati called The Body, Dhamma Reflections on Aging, Illness, and Death. Today we're starting a new Dhamma talk by Ajahn Candasiri called Growing Old Gracefully. I recently visited some relatives in Canada, where I also had a chance to share Dhamma with various Buddhist groups there. I realized that when people don't have a local monastery or regular contact with Dhamma teachings, they really seem to have to value having contact with a monk or nun. These people were very interested, very eager. They had lots of questions and seemed very enthusiastic about practice. Growing old. One of the things that struck me most forcefully during my visit was a question that someone asked in one of the meditation workshops. She said she was noticing that as she grew older, she tended to forget things. Her mind is no longer so bright and clear. She asked, "How do you practice with this? I know that it's not going to get any better. I can feel that my mind is going." After she had asked this question, there was an awesome hush in the room. I think quite a few of the people there were aware that they were no longer remembering things so well. Though they were from a wide range of ages, the fact of aging was very real for all of them. It's clear that we can't stop the aging process, but how can we practice with it? Is there anything we can do to make it at all less difficult for ourselves and others? What was really striking was that shared realization of the inevitability of old age, sickness, and death. This is something that all of us are facing right now in varying degrees, and we can't do anything about it. Some people will completely lose their minds fairly early on. Others of us may grow into our 70s, 80s, or 90s with a mind that is still quite bright, but certainly the body will change. How can Buddhist practice support a sense of well-being during this process? Well-being. It was a particularly interesting question because the theme I had chosen for the workshop was well-being, maintaining well-being. I have come to see that well-being is a necessary foundation for practice. It is said that you can't teach people when they're hungry, you have to feed them first. There has to be a reasonable degree of well-being to really contemplate Dhamma. Otherwise, the bodily and mental stress become too much of a distraction. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you for joining me this morning.